What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Project Runway, the season finale, part 2, season 18, finale, part 2. Okay, I got all that out. All right. So we start off, they left us with this cliffhanger last week about who's going to show at Fashion Week. Are we going to take 2 people? Are we going to take 3? Are we going to take all 4? They took all 4. You knew they were going to take all 4. Let's go. Although that would have been a hell of a way to start this episode off with them saying, okay, well, so-and-so, you're gone. But they didn't do that. So they all go down to the CFDA, which of course is part of what they will win is, I think, a 1-year apprenticeship or internship or something like that down at the CFDA. And so they met with 2 women there who were going to give them some advice on their collection. And here's what's interesting, and here's what sort of validates everything, all of these experts, because pretty much what these women told the contestants is the same thing that the judges and Christian have been saying all season. So with Victoria, they told her she was over accessorized and the branding was unnecessary. Same thing Brandon told her about that branding. Don't nobody want to wear your purse. You're not there yet, boo. You're not at that height yet. Okay? And of course she had the same excuse and she gave the same reason and whatever. Victoria's going to do what Victoria wants to do. We'll get back to that. Nancy went off on this whole, side story about wanting to make that clothing that just makes people feel good, and she doesn't care about size and age and whether they, we know she does the adaptive fashions and things like that. And they were like, that's cool. That's your mission. What's your message? And so she said that she understood that there was a difference and that she was going to have to focus more on what the message of her clothing was, not just the mission, because the mission, she got it. And I love Nancy's mission. I do. Jeffrey, they told Jeffrey to lead with the Purple Heart piece, not the materials. Jeffrey tends to lead with the negative and everything he's done wrong and everything that's wrong and everything. He tends to lead with that and then get to the real. So they told him lead with that positive first. Let somebody else criticize your work. You don't have to be your own worst critic vocally. Like internally, yes, you always can see how you could do something better, but you don't have to lead off the charge. You don't have to be the first one to say it, and you certainly don't have to lead the charge. I mean, the loudest one to say it. Y'all know what I'm saying. Last but not least, Sebastian. Oh, Sebastian. Oh, Sebastian. Again, they told him the same thing everybody's been telling him. Like, great, your message is great, but your collection should be able to stand without needing footnotes. Like, I shouldn't have to read a whole chapter on what your collection is before I see your collection to understand your collection. But again, Sebastian's going to do what he wants to do. So, and they told him it looked old, which it does. So they go back to Mood. They have $300 or $600, something like that. They have a good amount of money to spend at Mood to make whatever alterations, make new product, do whatever needs to be done. You know what, y'all? I've been calling that man Sebastian. Sebastian won last season. Sergio. Now, I promise y'all, somebody's going to put in the comments, you called him Sebastian. I just corrected it 3 times. Somebody's still going to say it in the comments. Anyway. But my bad, y'all. Sergio. But the other thing was, when they got to Mood, guess what Sergio did for the first time this season? He listened to Christian. Christian has been trying to help him out all season. Give him little tidbits, give him a little twit, give him a little this, give him a little that. And he always thinks he's the smartest person in the room. He always thinks that he doesn't need anybody's help. He always thinks that he has all of the answers. But he actually listened to Christian. First time for everything. They get back to the workroom, and now it's time to pick models. And they pretty much, you know, they've had their favorites all season. Victoria tends to try to get a little greedy with the models, and she wanted to try to take models that she knew good well other people had been working with all year. Like, girl, stop. But it seemed like it went relatively smoothly. It was a few, like I said, it was a few little, I want this person, I want that person. But Nancy was able to, she was able to get a model in a wheelchair and a model that had a prosthetic. And, you know, that was right up Nancy's alley, so she was loving it. She also got Dee Dee, which, of course, was the transgender. No, she's not transgender. She's on the spectrum. And I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't remember. She's on the spectrum. But she was the first. I think she is transgender. But anyway, you know, that's who Nancy's been working with all year. Thijin, Jeffrey got Thijin. Anyway, they got the people they wanted. Those are the two that stand out to me. Anyway, but they got the people they wanted, and then they brought the stylist in that they had earlier this season when they did their cycle up the recycled materials challenge. And guess what? Sergio did again. He listened to somebody. She told him to make a t-shirt, and he tried to fight her. Well, that's just not what I do. I don't do that. That's just not. And, you know, the thing that Sergio kept saying all season long that was really irritating me was talking about his clientele. And his client of woman this, and his client of woman that, and his client of woman does this, and his client of woman does that. And how old they are, and how they like to be dressed a certain way. And finally, somebody told him, and I can't remember if it was the ladies at CFDA or if it was the stylist. I don't remember which one it was. But finally they said, look, older women like to look young too. Like, they don't want to dress old. Like, that's not an excuse. And I don't know if he was finally ready to hear it or if he had heard it enough. Like, I don't know what it was. But finally, I guess he was just kind of like, all right, damn. You know, because it was like, so a woman in her 60s can't wear a t-shirt? Like, stop. But anyway, I mean, he still listened to what he wanted to listen to. But he did, I will say, but the problem is, and I mean, granted, you were in the Final Four, so you, okay, it got you there. But granted, still, like, you waited, like, if you, I don't know, you're still in the Final Four, so whatever. And then, of course, they went through the whole makeup, getting their hair done. You know, they do, you know, they did all they do. I'm not getting ready to sit here and go through all of that. So they went out that night for drinks, and I think all of them needed it. All of them needed to just woo-saw and take in the moment, because it's really easy to, you know, it's really easy to just get caught up. So they did go out for drinks and stuff, and I was here for that. And they had a really good conversation. I think they once again sort of opened up to each other about just about who they were. You know, I'll be honest with you, through the finale, I did get to see a little bit of a different side of Sergio. He still gets on my nerves, but he didn't get on my nerves as badly as he had the whole season. And he said he was going to propose to his partner. He said he's been there with him through everything. He put his own life on hold for his dreams, and that he really loved him, and that's who he wanted to be with. He said, so no matter what happens that night, I'm still going to come out a winner, because I'm going to ask him to marry me. So whether I win or not, I'm still winning. And I said, you know what, Sergio, I ain't even mad at you, boo. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. So, then we get to the finale. So I've been reading you all's comments, and I've heard what you guys said about the different collections and what you liked and what you didn't like. So let's talk a little bit about it. What I'm going to say is, oh, guest judge with Serena Williams. Okay. What I'm going to say is this. Probably my favorite collection out of the four was probably it was a mixture, but it was for me it was sort of a tie between Jeffrey and Nancy. Jeffrey has been avant-garde from the beginning, so his collection is not going to be ready to wear. His collection is not going to be, but I like that bubble coat. The yellow bubble coat, I really did like that bubble coat. I liked the suit that that Nancy made. I did like that suit, and I like that material she made her dresses with, that liquid. So that liquid material, I would love to, like, if I had an affair, you know, like a dress up affair, that would be a nice material to make a nice dress out of. So yeah. So from that point of view, okay, you know what I mean. The most ready to wear collection, it was Victoria's. It looked the damn same. I mean, every suit looked the same, but it was something that I could see that suit. I could see me walking into a Macy's tomorrow and seeing that suit. Like, it was the most ready to wear. Y'all know what I'm saying? Um, Sergio's just looked old. Like, there was, but I will say that dress he had, that, not the finale dress, but that green dress with the little tassels on it, I thought that was really pretty. I thought that was really pretty. Okay. Now, with that being said, everybody's fashion show went off without a hitch. You know, they would, if there were any problems, you know, they're gonna edit that out anyway, child. But the show itself went really, really well. Okay. Now, Victoria, you didn't do anything they told you to do. You did not listen to them at all. You still bought every single model out with the damn hat and that damn purse that your mama crocheted. You still had branding on a couple of your outfits. That one dress that had the branding all over the dress, you kept that in. They told you. The judges told you. Christian told you. The ladies at the CFDA told you, get rid of the branding. And your response to the judges was, well, I took some of it out. No! The only branding you probably could have got away with was the branding that sort of blended in, was used with like the same material that blended in. I did like those pleated pants though. Those pleated pants were really nice. All right. Nancy, really well. I think the prosthetic was a showstopper because the lady had rhinestones and glitter, and it was really beautiful. That was a showstopper. The way the judges felt about, so I knew that was going to eliminate Victoria right then and there, because what that showed, y'all know them judges don't like feeling like they being disrespected, and what that showed the judges was, so we gave you a direct edit, and you didn't do that. Like a direct edit. And not only did the judges give it to you, Christian gave it to you, the mentors at the CFDA, and the stylists. Everybody told you the same thing. So I said, well, Victoria ain't gonna win. That right there, that knocked her out. She shouldn't have been there, no way. Then we got to Nancy. And the thing that the judges liked the most about Nancy's collection was the adaptive wear. And the one thing that Brandon said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but basically what Brandon said is that Nancy has tapped into the future of fashion, meaning she had a transgender model in her show. She had a model in a wheelchair. She had a model with a prosthetic on, and proud showed it off, and when it was proud, like it was highlighted. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. She had a model with one arm, well, with a partial arm. Like she absolutely was fully inclusive in her collection. And what the judges were saying was, hey, that's the future. That's the future. Jeffrey, again, the avant-garde, I think he did a good job of doing the edits that they told him to do. Excuse me. I take that back, y'all. I messed up. I'm sorry. I gotta remember it wasn't Nancy. It was Victoria that had the model with the one arm. That was Victoria. I take that back. That was Victoria. But neither here nor there though. Nancy she had 2 or 3. And that's what they told her was that but that was one thing they said. And I said, so when the judges said that, I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, that might put Nancy over the edge. When they said that she's tapped into the future of fashion, I said, oh, that might do it for her. So then, like I said, then Victoria, and Nancy's husband was so cute. He was crying, y'all. Oh, he looked so cute. His face was all red and stuff. Anyway, so like I said, Jeffrey's collection, very avant-garde. I liked it. I thought it was really cool, like I said, but it was Jeffrey. It was so Jeffrey. I think Jeffrey stayed so true to who he was, in his aesthetic. Again, y'all, I keep telling y'all, I'm worried about Jeffrey. I'm still worried about Jeffrey, and I'm not even saying that to be funny. I'm not bullshitting. It's no joke. Like, I'm really worried about Jeffrey because he cried this whole episode. I mean, he cried the whole episode. Every time they showed Jeffrey, he was crying. He gets so overwhelmed. He gets so caught up in his own head. Anyway, last but not least, Sergio. Again, it's just old. It's just, his collection is just old. And I was so disappointed because Serena Williams, who I always thought Serena had a very forward-thinking mindset when it came to fashion. She's done some very innovative things. The tutu and the bodysuits and stuff like that for her tennis wear. That was her favorite one. Like, Sergio was her favorite. She said that she's a very classic. And I'm thinking, what has Serena Williams ever shown us that was a classic? Like the tutu, the bodysuit. I mean, I know I already use those examples, but I'm like, Serena, to me, you've been the opposite of classic. But who am I? But Sergio was her favorite, and that just really shocked me that Sergio was her favorite one. But again, it was well made. It was just old. He did have a couple of really nice pieces, but overall, it was just old. So the judges deliberate, and the winner is Jeffrey. Jeffrey wins. Sergio does ask his partner to marry him. The partner says yes. So again, I am so happy. And Jeffrey even said something to the effect of, this did more for his confidence than a whole year on a therapist's couch. But in my mind, I'm thinking, but I think I need you to go back to that therapist. Matter of fact, I think you need to find a new therapist. I think you need to take part of that $100,000 that you just won and go get you some therapy. And again, I'm not bullshit. I'm really not. I like Jeffrey. Jeffrey has been one of my favorites from the beginning of this competition, but I have said in more than one review. Okay? But I was happy with it. I mean, I wasn't happy with all 4 of the people who made it to the finale, but I definitely was happy that Jeffrey won. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.